gonna be good. Thank you. Thank you. Put them books back up though. Let me see them books. That's what I'm talking about. You dig? That's the support we're trying to see. The fact that we can see the support. Yes. Hi everybody. Hi. We love you. Love you. We're so glad you're here. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming out to this very special occasions, a very intimate occasion. First, can we give it up for the Doc Bookstore? An African American bookstore right here in Fort Worth. We are so happy to have the opportunity to just sit and have a conversation. Yes. Touré is my brother. This is what I love about this opportunity for us to talk is this wasn't a random selection of two people that may have influence or a platform that also share the same initials. Right. It's a brotherhood and a covenant relationship that is forming that we get to extend to you. So not only are you going to be hearing about the author of the book, you're going to be hearing the heart of the author of the book and what knowing looks like, what it feels like in real time. Not just based on past experiences, but how many of you all know when we say a thing, life will present us with opportunities to prove that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. When Paul writes something like, I have learned to be content in whatever state I'm in. Then he has to go to prison. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So when you are in a season where writing a book resonates with an audience and you have a knowing that makes you put pen to paper, and then your wife, my sister, fractures her neck. What do you know now? It's one thing to say it and write it, it's another thing to have to live it in real time. So we are with the author, Touré Roberts.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you very much, PT.
PT.
I think that this conversation is important because, to Tim's point, have you listened to the Basement podcast? It's called The Basement. I had a chance to be on the Basement podcast about a month ago. And before we even started, my eyes started watering. And I'm like, what's going on here? And there was a brotherhood dynamic. It was almost as, I've never been in this situation, but it has to feel this way. If you had twins separated from birth and they were living and doing their thing, and then at 50, they somehow found themselves in the same room together, not knowing that they were brothers, but just found themselves in the room. And there was a resonance that transcends, liking the same things or having the same interests, but you really felt like we come from the same stuff. That's what it was. So one, if you haven't watched that podcast, please watch it, because it will frame and further confirm what you witness when you experience us talking. So I couldn't have had anyone more aligned to talk through the subject of knowing. But I do think that you mentioned Sarah and her accident. We were all together laughing and joking and bouncing around in Atlanta just a couple of weeks ago. Oftentimes you have to become the message. And when you get the message is at a certain level, but messages have layers. They have words and realms to a message. And I have never been more convinced about this book than I am now, because I've had to come at it from a different angle and it still makes sense. Right? Because for the most part, any of the press that I've done, the majority of the press has been about, and this is very true, about our knower and how God, according to his word in Hebrews, I think it's in chapter 7, where 7 and 5, or 5 and 7, 7 and 5. Read your whole Bible.
Read your whole Bible.
Read your Bible. And he talks about how we do have this sense, right? This sense that can be exercised and sharpened. And this sense allows us to discern good from evil, right from wrong, what is true, what is not true. That's your knower. And that word that was translated senses comes from a Greek word that literally means an organ of perception. So the majority of my conversations around the book has been about God giving us an ability to perceive him. In 1 Corinthians 2:9, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man, those things that God has prepared for us. And we get all excited when we read that. But he's not making a promise there as much as he is saying that there is an insight that your eyes cannot pick up, that your eyes won't be able to perceive. God bless you. That your ears won't be able to hear. You won't be able to access it with your eyes. You won't be able to access it with your ears. You won't be able to access in your heart. That's all wonderful, but what I have for you, you won't be able to access it from there. And then he says, but those things. So the restriction is in the first part. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor has it into the heart of man. That's restriction. That says it's not going to happen. It's kind of like when it says, not by might, nor by power, but indeed by my spirit. So the but is in verse 10, where it says, but these things have been revealed to us by the Spirit of the Lord. And the Spirit of the Lord searches all things, yes, the deep things of God, so that we might know what has been freely given to us. So this is what I've been talking about, how there is a knowing by the Spirit of God that has been freely given to us, further established in what the writer of the Hebrews says, that we have this sense that if we use it and we exercise it, we train it, we'll get good at it. And so my conversation around knowing, I'm going somewhere. So my conversation around knowing has been about that first sense, not the sixth sense, but the first sense. Okay. But none of that made sense in the context of the accident that my wife had, because I didn't know. I didn't sense. I didn't see. So now what does knowing mean? If knowing could not give you the ability to predict what would come and thereby run out there 5 minutes before the accident and say, honey, don't jump up and down on that thing. Right? That framing or that framework of knowing doesn't apply. So, and the beautiful thing about knowing is that it's not one thing. It's not static. It's not one thing. It means many things. So it doesn't take away from the fact that we have a knower, but what do you know? Watch this. When something happens that you didn't know or that you didn't see coming. And the answer's in the book there too. In fact, it's in the first chapter of the book. First chapter of the book, Tim. It literally is be still and know. Because let me just tell you, can I just do like this real quick? We're going to do questions all that. It'll be fun. Have a good time. But the first chapter of the book I wrote because when I sat down, I had the revelation for the book. When I sat down to actually write the book, I was shaken. I didn't feel like I had no knowing. I'm like, I felt like a fraud. Like, God, wait a minute. How am I going to write a book about knowing right now? And I am uncertain, unsure of myself in this very moment. And the Holy Spirit said, because I'm getting ready to take you deeper. Because you know what you know, but you don't know what you don't know. One of the chapters of the book is called The Catalyst of Ignorance. Having the humility to say, yes, I know some stuff, but I also don't know some stuff. So I'm always learning. That's why knowing is ing. I didn't name the book No. I named it Knowing because we're knowing. So anyway, in that first chapter, it does deal with when something catches you off guard. When you look up and you find yourself in a situation that you did not see coming, that you would never choose or predict for yourself, and what do? And I talk about being in the cocoon and how God, when God is looking to develop you, He will allow you, watch this, to walk into something you couldn't see coming, to walk into something you couldn't predict, to walk into something your eyes did, your eyes nothing, and yet be able to know in the midst of it, and the knowing in the midst of it is what gives you the strength to come through it.
So I'm about to jump out of my skin already. I'm like so hyped. So Bishop Jake said something to me when I was around 32 or 33. I was approached to write my first book. And he said, be careful before you write your first book. He said, it takes a long time before your truth becomes the truth.
Mm.
And that's why I didn't write my first book until I was in my 40s. I was just captured by the thought of how many people felt they knew a thing in one season of their life, only to find out in a different thing, in a different season, I don't believe that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if what you wrote here would have blown up after Sarah's accident, you knew much less than you thought you knew.
Yes.
But the fact that it was substantiated in the first chapter of your book lets you know that you knew more than you could have ever known, because you would have never factored in a scenario like Sarah's accident. So when we come into this knowing, it prepares us for what we already know and what we don't even know is coming. Can you speak more and elaborate more on the type of comfort that can give you, the type of confidence it can give you when you don't have to live? Because some people, anybody in here have anxiety? Okay. You want to know everything up front so you'll never surprise. This book is going to help you and hurt you.
That's real.
Because we can never be prepared enough for the unknown. So the confidence, can you speak to the confidence that knowing can give for the things you have absolutely no idea about?
Absolutely. I think I put this passage in there somewhere in the book. And it's from James, the first chapter. And James says something that when you read it at first, because you are a believer, you say amen, but there is some disagreement, a little bit of dissonance between what is said and what you're amening. But he says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. Now, if we just stop right there, that sounds nice and churchy and spiritual but that's not a very sexy word. If I might use that term.
Yeah.
That's not a very, but then he uses another word. He says something after that that reframes what he said previously. So he says, count it all joy when you fall into divers, O King James, divers tests and trials. Then he says, knowing. The very next word is knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. And let patience have its perfect work, that you might be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So many of the trials that we face and we experience do not seem like they're adding. It seems like it's subtracting. Financial trial communicates I'm lacking money. A relationship trial says I'm losing connection, losing love. A health trial says my health is being diminished, right? Yet, so the framing up to the knowing, the framing is loss, okay? But then when he says knowing that the testing of your faith, okay, all these trials, you thought it was subtraction, but there is a knowing that says it's actually addition. It says, let it have its perfect work. In other words, let it add up. Various trials. Let it tally up, knowing that if you allow it to tally up, you're going to be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. The difference between anxiety and peace, the difference between confidence and crying. Sometimes you got to confidently cry or cry confidently. The difference is in knowing. So it goes back to that first chapter again. That first chapter, it says, if the cocoon could talk, if a cocoon could talk, what would it say? The caterpillar, what would it say to the caterpillar? The caterpillar is caterpillaring in its own way. The caterpillar is moving through life on the ground, and yeah, it may not be up there with the birds, the moths, or whatever, but it's created a life for itself, moving about on the ground. It's got access to food. It's doing this little caterpillar thing. And then the next thing you know, it's dark. It's shut down. The caterpillar doesn't know that something's, the caterpillar doesn't have a knowing. It's just experiencing now darkness, tight space. It's losing mobility. It looks like loss. And it gets deformed in the process. So I can't even access what I used to access. I can't even access my sensing. Who am I? Have you ever felt like that before? Life hits you and you be in a season and all of your access points for joy and your access points for confidence and your access points for connection now, you can't find them anymore. And you're on the potter's wheel. So anyway, so the cocoon is not talking. It's just dark and disorienting. But if the cocoon could talk to that caterpillar, that cocoon would say, count it all joy. I know you're being ill-shaped. I know that you can't, figure this out. I know it's dark. And I know that you cannot see God's hand. But you have to learn to trust his heart when you can't. And Mr. Formerly Caterpillar, I'm not even going to call you Caterpillar anymore because you're becoming something more beautiful. Amen. Mr. I'm just going to call you Mr. C. When this process is over, what would the cocoon tell you? First of all, it would tell you this is temporary. Isn't it like the enemy when you're in the middle of something to swear to you that this is the one that's going to wipe you out? You've been there before. You have a track record with God. But this one, this particular one, this one is when God's going to fail you. Now he's coming through here, there. So the cocoon would say, hey, the same God that delivered you out of the fiery furnace, the same God that allowed you to slay the lion and the bear, the same God that shut the mouths of the lions is going to bring you through this. And not only are you going to get through it, but God don't play with you. God doesn't just send you through things to come out the same. What the cocoon would tell that seed is that when this cocoon, it would say, when I'm finished with you, you will never want to be a caterpillar again. You will easily trade the process for what you will ultimately become. So knowing is God telling you that This cocoon is temporary. And I talk about Job in that. And when you are tried, you shall come forth as gold. So that knowing grounds you when the ground beneath you seems unstable. And that's what I learned in this new season to another level, because I was uprooted, man. That woman is my life. Don't even pretend like, don't even insinuate that I may lose her or lose her as don't even bring that thought up. So knowing, it's not just sensing what the next move should be. All that's there. I'll be honest with you. To knowing what to lay hold of, what to leave. Right? Ecclesiastes says the time and the season, time to embrace, time to refrain. Yeah, it'll give you all that. But honestly, in my estimation, what is even greater than that is the ability to stand when your world is falling apart.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good.
You mentioned your wife. You are a family man,
Yeah.
and you love your family. Two of your sons are here today. Um, Authors usually go about um, finding someone with more influence than themselves to write the foreword of their books, someone to endorse, someone to um, give language to the person that has penned the book. You got someone to write the foreword.
Yeah.
It's just so unique to me, um,
Yeah.
who you chose and why she was chosen. She made a request. Can you walk us through how your daughter,
Mhm.
and let me tell you this as an author, we live in such a day and an age now with so many public figures, authors, um, individuals losing credibility because of what may ever come out in the news or social media, that they don't even put forward by anybody anymore on the cover. It will be on the inside of the book, but it won't be on the outside because they don't want to run the risk of spending millions of dollars to have to redact those books
Mhm.
and cross out that name because they're no longer hot. You ain't got that issue. This girl's name is gonna be good in your eyes. Well, walk us through this. Yeah, yeah, that's really good. um, so let me tell you about Ella first. Ella is a bit of an introvert. Um, and so she's shy, she's very smart, she's very spiritually in tune, and not like I read my Bible and I'm spiritually in tune.
Mhm.
She's been spiritually in tune for a while. I call it like accidentally prophetic,
Mhm.
where she will just say the right thing at the right time, and you can tell it came from a place that transcends her experience, her intellect, and she just has had, as long as we can remember, a knowing. And so she comes to me randomly in the dining room one day, and she randomly says, I want to write the foreword. Now she's 9 at the time, she just turned 10. She's 9 at the time. So first of all, to even
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
Most 9-year-olds are like, I want a sandwich. Give me some credits for Roblox.
Right.
I mean, so first of all, to even know what a foreword is,
That part.
Yeah.
to perceive its significance, and then to ask was pleasantly bizarre.
Mhm.
And what I mean by pleasantly bizarre is I trust her knowing. Now, that doesn't mean that I trust everything she wants to do and everything she wants to do, because she would eat chocolate chip cookies all night. It's not that.
Yeah.
But I trust when she is locked into that thing
Yeah.
that Sarah and I have always noticed about her. And so she was in the space of that thing when she says, Dad, I want to write the foreword. And it wasn't even a request.
Right.
There was such a knowing in her words that I realized that it was a command, but not a command from her per se.
Mhm.
It felt like a command from the Lord through her words. And I said, okay, I agreed, which is crazy. You know, it is crazy to agree to that because, I mean, to Tim's point, you're supposed to have a subject matter expert or someone with enough credibility to add
Right.
to your credibility, or your ability to move books. But I knew I had a knowing based on my perception of her knowing that this was supposed to take place. Now, in the process of time, I realized that it made all the sense in the world. Oh, and by the way, my publisher was not happy about it. And I have a wonderful publisher. This is not, if I probably would have not been happy about it too if I was in their shoes without knowing
Right.
what I know. My agent had some questions. My agent said, well, sure. And so I had to kind of fight for it. I had to be, this is important. When you have a knowing
Mhm.
and you know it's a knowing, you got to trust it
Yeah.
because it will be disruptive for the right reasons. So as we begin to unpack it, it made sense. We are born with, I think children are closer to God than most adults when they're first born.
Right.
And here's why. They haven't experienced all the stuff that produces our misdoings. Typically, to get to a real strong discipline of knowing, you're going to have to unknow some stuff. Most of what we know right now are things that were shaped by our environments, what we've been through, and all that kind of stuff. And we call it wisdom and we call it discernment, but sometimes it's flat out trauma.
Yeah.
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 Just trauma, just lying. I got discernment, but your discernment don't trust nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just there's something off there, but it's the case with everybody you meet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you like, I got this. That's not discernment.
That's right.
That's trauma tricking you.
Yeah. Yes.
And but children haven't yet experienced that. And so they're pure. That's what the Bible talks about. Except you are converted and become like this child, you should not inherit the kingdom. So now when I go and I do interviews, they want to know about Ella. That's what they want to talk about. In many cases, I mean, we talk about other things, but they want to know. Now, your daughter wrote the foreword. Talk to me about that. And so God knew that Ella was supposed to write this foreword, and it's a brilliant foreword. I mean, I sat with her, I interviewed her, I pulled all that out. Okay, so this is what we want to share, and then we wrote it together. But these are her thoughts. They're all her thoughts pulled out. It's amazing. And so she had a knowing. That knowing was confirmed in my knower. And now it's actually helping the book to get into doors, places, and conversations that it wouldn't have been.
Wow.
And so that's how that came to be.
Okay, so there's two things that came out of what you just said that I just want you to jump on and tap dance on.
Okay.
The first thing is defending
Mm-hmm.
what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you get that to that point where your knower knows and no one else does yet,
Wow. Yet. Wow.
what is it like to defend that? Jesus says after the Pharisees have such an issue with him, right? Well, John was out there eating wild locusts and honey. You said he had a demon, and I'm hanging out with sinners and stuff, and you think I've lost my mind. But wisdom is proven to be right by its results.
Yeah.
So sometimes you know way before everybody else does, and you will have to defend what you know until they figure it out. Hear me, without being petty.
Mm-hmm.
Told you.
Right? Without that, I told you so coming out. Without that, I told you, you better let me, because that's flesh,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So how do we defend what we know? Okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. Without being offended with those that don't.
Yeah. I think that you have to understand and respect the fact that God didn't say it to them.
Oh.
God said it to you. And we get offended and we get upset because we expect someone else to have a conviction based on the word that they never got. And so I don't expect you to have conviction about what God never said. That's not fair. That's not fair to you. God didn't say that to you. You know, so I can't even be mad. I can't even hate on you about it. He didn't say it to you. You know, and so I think it's grace. I think you give people grace. I've had my for me, the step to the next level, the next dimension, the next unfolding of whatever God has for me has always happened through a hard yes. And what I mean by a hard yes is it is a yes to God that costs everything. That cost rejecting the counsel and the opinion of those you respect. Sometimes that has been the cost of those leaps of faith. My life is the byproduct of about seven radical hard yes leaps of faith, and there was not one of those seven that didn't have someone that I respected or loved, at minimum, looking at my decision sideways. And you're right. It is very, very important to not get offended when they don't get it. They don't get it because they didn't get it. You got it. And so you love them. And I love what you just referenced. Wisdom is justified by her children.
That's right.
Give them the chance to catch up.
That's right.
When I was pushing back against, when I was pushing back against the publisher about a lot, and as an author, you got to push back against the publisher about a lot of things because they try to frame you and box you, but it was the creativity that God gave you, the limitless creativity that allowed you to be an author that they want to give some money to.
Exactly right.
And yet, when that happens, and so that, and that's just anyway. And I have a great publisher. Okay, just so you know.
You gotta fight with him.
You gotta fight for it. That's right. And it's a good wrestling.
Because if you don't fight with them, it won't be your book.
Right.
Yeah. That part.
It'll be theirs.
Be there with your name on it.
Right, exactly right.
And your county face when it comes out and it's not resonating with nobody, you mad.
Right.
So, but just to give people grace, you can't do destiny with a preoccupation with the opinions of others. Because you can't be yourself if you are preoccupied and you require agreement with those that God didn't speak to. So that's important. But then also to not judge them,
Mm-hmm.
not stay in here. And oftentimes they love you.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. They're not always haters. It's not always the haters
Mm-hmm.
that block you. Oftentimes it's the lovers.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They love you. They want to see. They don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you make a mistake. They don't want to be. They're the closest people. That's why it hurts so much.
Right.
Because you think to yourself, you're supposed to love me. You're supposed to rock with me. And they're saying, I do love you.
Right.
I'm trying to protect you.
Right.
Jesus, and I'm Peter.
Right.
Jesus, I'm going to the cross. Peter, no, you're not. He wasn't doing that out of disrespect. He wasn't doing that out of, he was trying to exalt himself over Christ. It was love. I won't let that happen. But guess what? Jesus said, you're going to have to get on behind me. And I'm going to let you know something right now. Satan is using you.
Mhm.
And look at what he's using. He's not using your hate.
Okay.
Wow.
He's using your love.
I almost threw this mic at you. But our proximity is so close, it would have came across the table. My God. It's ridiculous answer, bro. I'm cooked. Okay. Um, Here's the other thing I want you to talk about. Misnowing.
Ooh. I got to tell you a story. The best way to talk about it is to tell you a story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I tell it in the book. And you may have heard it, but you're going to get something out of it this time that you didn't get before. I grew up in Watts, South Central LA. Watts and Compton. So take Compton. Compton has Compton has some nice neighborhoods in it, right? Compton has, you can have some middle class. You can tap into some upper middle class in Compton. It's that big and that diverse. Watts ain't got none of that. Watts is a smaller area and ain't no middle class. Not when I was growing up. It's
Not now.
not now. Yeah, it's and I saw everything there. I experienced a lot of things there. Experienced a lot of loss there. When I was 12, my best friend got murdered. My best friend was a girl, and she got murdered when I was 12. Then a close friend, not as close as her, named Dwight, he got killed. We were probably 13 or something like that. Then, and there were other people that weren't as close, but I would see them and then I wouldn't see them and then I wouldn't see them more because they were dead. I got shot when I was 16 years old and almost died. When I was 18 years old, my best friend was driving to Morehouse to college, got into a car accident, and he died. When I was 30, my cousin, who was like my big brother, I grew up with him. I didn't have any brothers, I didn't have any brothers, and I grew up with him. He was in a motorcycle accident and died. My father, 2014, he wasn't the healthiest person, but he wasn't die unhealthy. And I got a phone call. I was in a meeting, a business meeting, and he died. And so I had a lot of um, trauma. And this is one story that I think will speak to this misknowing. My I have a 16-year-old daughter right now. When she was 14, um, she had shared something with her friend at school that kind of brought some anxiety to me. We were leaving the country. We were going out of the country, and she was saying, "Yeah, Dad." And I told my friend, that we were going out of the country. I was like, "Wait a minute." I said, "Don't tell them that. They might break into our house and rob us if they know we're out of town." No, 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 no. And then Sarah overheard me chastising my daughter, telling her, "You got to tell nobody you leaving because they break into your house and steal." And my wife Sarah said, "Honey, let me holler at you for a second." She says, "So you mean to tell me that you think little Becky is going to hop over the fence, get past the security cameras,
It's funny.
get past the guards, all that kind of stuff, and somehow, some way, little Becky is going to break into the house and rob us blind. She said, are you serious? And we laughed. We laughed. But guess what? I actually was serious. And I thought in my mind that it was wisdom.
Yeah.
Because you don't tell nobody. Bringing all these old
Yeah.
thoughts and ways and patterns and behavior that I thought was wisdom. No, even better, I thought it was discernment. So I'm trying to move through life. To tell nobody, just keep your business, you know. And it was a misknowing. But what, and I knew that I was gonna have to work on that. But what hit me hard, and I don't know if we talked about this, Tim, but what hit me hard and made me realize I've got to get delivered from it is when Ella started saying, Daddy, I'm scared. Just I randomly, Daddy, I'm scared. And I'm thinking, Ella, you ain't seen no Watts. You ain't seen no nothing. You haven't seen anything but love and protection and safety and peace. And yet you are scared. Where did that come from? And I knew hurts me to this moment. That came from me. Uh, Not just by, whatever biological, uh, environmental, however that transfer would be, but she was picking up on my misknowing. I'm calling it hypervigilance. I'm calling it, I'm discerning. I'm calling it, yeah, it's wise to not sit with your back to the door at a restaurant. This is wisdom to back. I still, every once in a while, will back into a parking structure. I can just, I'll pull in there and you can pull right in. No, sir. Just in case. I'm backing in. Calling it wisdom. Teaching my kids this. This is wisdom. No, it's not wisdom. It's worry. It's misknowing. And when I realized that I was passing that on to my 9-year old who had no context, no concept, no framework at all for feeling that way, I said, it's got to change. It's got to change. That's misknowing. And we all have it.
Yes.
We all have it. Somewhere.
So I'll tell you the last time I had mine, my last misknowing was less than 24 hours ago. Because Noah won't lock the front door. We live on 3 acres. The front door from the street is half the length of a football field. And coming from Inglewood, California, I'm very convicted right now. Because I said go lock the door. So he went to go lock the door. And he came back and he said, with a big smile on his face because he's so innocent. But he said, because home invasions are still a thing.
And that's
But he knows nothing about home invasion. I'm the one that told him that. So he's repeating a narrative from my trauma
Yeah. Wow.
that he has no acquaintance with
Yeah.
in his life. So I'm deeply convicted. And I think the lesson I'm learning in real time right now is not to pass on my misknowings to the next generation.
Yeah.
I can pass, so there is some way you should lock your door. You should lock your door. That's true. And it can't be because you think the door kickers, right?
Yeah.
You about to get jacked. My kids are upper middle class, bougie black kids.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. I had to take them to the hood.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way they know I had to, and it was bougie the way I flew them first class back to. This is so.
Look at you.
I flew them first class back to LA. Rented a Denali. Now that I'm saying it, it's so stupid. And I drove them through the hood in broad daylight. We did not creep through after 9. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, you don't come here. And they were like, so many bars. So many bars on the windows. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Man, that's deeply convicting for me.
All right, all right. Now I gotta show you some more of my scars.
Hmm.
I own 19 guns.
You got me beat by about 3. I got a whole, okay. Okay, all right. Since we're still on scars, I told Sean this when we were in Atlanta. So, and I'll tell y'all because this is an intimate environment. Um, so I have a Model Y. I got the little Model Y Tesla. But there's an arsenal in the back. Long range, short range, and pistols. So I got you 500 yards out, 250 yards out, and 15 yards out.
Yeah.
It's in that Model Y.
Yeah.
If I pop that trunk,
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
We're getting home. You know what I'm saying?
See, I feel better now.
Yeah. And I know that is I have been trauma informed enough to know that my trauma has informed what I know. But I don't want to. I'll give you one more story. We had the opportunity to go to Turks and Caicos 4 years ago. My wife is Afro Caribbean, and she did her genealogy, and her ancestors were actually dropped off on Turks Island.
Okay.
So, and she has the opportunity now to reclaim her heritage and have dual citizenship in Turks and Caicos. And there's land there for the family. So we're there. We're there for 11 days, and we got to do it big, right? Like we rented this house. The address was One Paradise.
Wow.
One Paradise Way.
Yeah.
The backyard had a swimming pool, an infinity pool that looked over into the ocean, and the steps led down to the ocean. The water was so clear, I thought somebody dropped chlorine tablets in it. I had never seen water this clear. We were there for 11 days. I had the opportunity to have a butler and a chef. Cooked us meals twice a day. Mixed drinks for us, did all the things, right? So the first night, we get there, the butler opens the door when we arrive to the house we're staying in, right? It's not an all-inclusive hotel, it's a house. Okay. The chef tells us dinner's gonna be ready in 10 minutes. We're walking through the house in awe. My mother-in-law's with me, Juliet and I are together, and then my boys. We're walking through the house. Wow, this is amazing. Can you believe we get to do this? All we hear is splash. My sons had dropped their stuff. They was already in the pool. We gotta eat. So they come out, soaking wet, get some towels. We all sit down. All the food has been catered to allergies, has been catered to preferences, all the things. And I sit down at the table and I'm about to open my mouth and say, y'all better appreciate this.
Mm.
Because I didn't have none of this growing up. We never had no vacation. Our vacation was a day to SeaWorld. We went there and we came back. We never stayed overnight anywhere.
Yeah.
We went to Disneyland and came home, right? We'd never been anywhere, okay? And the Holy Spirit literally snatched my words before they could come out of my mouth. He said, "You will not ruin
Mm.
the reality that you and your parents paid for
Yeah. Yeah.
by reminding them
Mm-hmm.
of something you didn't get to do. Your grandparents and your parents and you, their parents, have paid for this to be their norm."
Wow.
So 3 generations are at a table. My mother-in-law, Juliet and myself, and then Nathan and Noah. But it's only normal to one generation.
Mm.
And if we can't celebrate
Mm.
what we've endured to normalize what they experience, we haven't fully come into our knowing.
Wow.
I am convicted yet again. And that's the point.
Yeah.
All of us have some misknowing, and it's costing us something.
Mm.
There's a whole chapter in the book that deals with that. It's so funny. Uh, so my son is here tonight, and I wrote that chapter, and it's a beautiful chapter. It talks about trauma and and unpacking and heal you up real good. And then I found another opportunity for misknowing, and it was can I share? So Isaiah. Oh, I know. Okay, there's a new one. Okay,
Take your time, sir.
Isaiah. He worked in corporate America for a year in the insurance industry. And we knew it was temporary, but he wanted to get some structure and some experience, some business experience under his belt. But his passion is music. He's always been gifted. He was a child actor, and so television shows and commercials and all that kind of stuff. He just naturally, from the time he was 3 till he stopped doing it around 12 or so, 12, 13. But anyway, so uh, he felt like God was calling him to leave that corporate space and really to wait and decide what his next was going to be. I said, "Amen. That's great. I'm with you. I'll support you." Then he had been trying to talk to me, and he finally got uh, got an opportunity to talk to me, and he said, "Yeah, how like the Lord, you know, how you tell us that the Lord kind of leads you and guides you." And I said, "Yeah, I said, you have to trust that. You have to really trust, what God tells you to do. You taught us that. I'm so glad you taught us that."
The setup.
So wise young man.
I said, "Yeah, no, what? Yeah, what's the Lord put on your heart?" And he says, "Yeah, I feel like I'm supposed to move back to LA." And I looked at him because for me, LA represents a lot of things for me. Um, I got blessed in LA, don't get me wrong, but I have a lot of trauma from LA. And a lot of the trauma that I had took place when I was a young man in LA. And daddy's in Dallas now. And he wants to now move away from the structure and the life and the protection and the safety and the arm's reach that we've established here in Dallas to go back to a place that not only caused me some pain. Again, I was blessed there too, but the trauma stands out more.
Right.
Um, and it jacked me up. So I know better than to try to talk him out of it. Because remember, I know what it's like to let love get in the way of purpose, and I purpose not to let that happen. But I know him well enough to know that he could see it in my face that I was scared. So I said, okay, son, thank you. I'm praying for you. I said, okay. I asked him a few questions, pulled at those tent strings just a little bit, see if there was, some easy, uh, some easy way to get him to shift. And there wasn't. It was tight. Everything was tight. You taught me this, Dad. Yeah, I know. So I go to bed. I go back in the room and I said to Sarah, I said, he feels called to LA. And she was like, uh-oh. I go to sleep. I wake up at 4 in the morning and I am sobbing.
Mm.
I'm sobbing. And I woke Sarah up and I said, babe, I'm scared. And I'm bawling because I have this trauma and this fear that it hasn't, that I haven't addressed. I got shot on December 28th, 1988. I was 16 years old. And every December 28th, when I realize that it's December 28th, sometimes I stay home. Sometimes I don't really want to go out because I had a misknowing about that date. I framed that date as the day I almost lost my life. The truth of the matter is that was the day that God delivered me. It wasn't a day of doom, it was a day of deliverance. So I texted him the next day and I said, son, I know you saw uh, in my face. Let's see if I can find it. I said, I know you saw in my face something. I support you, but you undoubtedly could see the fear in my eye. I'm gonna read it to you because it's. I want you to hear what I said. Can I read that, son? Okay. 1 second here. That was a while ago. I said, hold on, it'll take too long. We're gonna do the little Jeopardy thing. I found it.
Dude.
I said, I said it was first thing in the morning. I said, hey, good morning, son. I said, I love you with all my heart. I'm praying for you. I said, as you can imagine, it was a little tough on me as a father to hear you say what you said. But I trust the God in you and the God of you, and I support you wholeheartedly. I love you and can't wait to help guide and support you in what you're stepping into. And I said, and God is using this whole experience to heal something in me. And he shared, can I read what you shared? Okay. Then he said, good morning, Dad. I love you too. That means the absolute world to me. With crying emojis. Thank you so much. He said, it was very tough on me as well. And I wouldn't have even brought it to you if I wasn't sure. Thank you for showing me how to hear and trust the voice of the Lord. That is invaluable. What has been keeping my faith strong is remembering how God has been with you, protecting and providing in every season of your life. I know that same God is with me. He led me to Joshua 1 shortly after I felt the word to move. Quotes, as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. That's been an anchor for me. Love you, Dad. Can't wait for you to be back. So it was, it was, but I missed the miss knowing God. I missed the, but there's always layers,
Yeah.
levels to it, and that was the beginning of another level of healing. Um, and when it's time for him to go, I'm gonna support him. I might send one of them guns with him.
As a parting gift.
As a parting gift. But we all have our misknowings, and the issue is we don't recognize them
Mm.
because they're misknowings. They feel like a knowing, but it's a misknowing.
So good. Thank you so much for your vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
As is yours.
Thank you, man. We're gonna open up for Q&A now. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. We could do
Yes.
maybe four
Four?
or five questions.
Okay, 4 or 5 questions. Popcorn bang. See, you have not because you asked nothing. Would you be opposed to standing up, telling us who you are, and then ask you? Thank you so much. You sat on the front row, so you know.
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Lanisha.
Hi, Lanisha.
I'm from Compton, California.
Let's go, Compton.
Okay, so.
Just got a seat walk out.
Hey, I love to see.
Yes.
Anywho, so I was the little girl that saw the feds at 7 and 9 years old, and that discernment with me that I didn't know was discernment was God. So Ella starting off with the forward was
Mm.
that was the little girl in me, even though she is in the space of the loving and the caring and that, normalizing being in the generation of just, you don't have to worry about if your dad coming home tonight because he's going to be there. I still resonated with her. So I love that. And what made you want to be so vulnerable, knowing that the platform you want, people value what you say, but you was humble enough to tell us your vulnerability in the first chapter, because I was able to read the first chapter.
I'm at
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. I'm at a place in my life where I feel like my vulnerability is more powerful than my victory. For people, because as the world gets more and more uncertain, and life is throwing everything at people, I want to be able to connect with people and relate. I can get you up to the mountain, but I realize that I can't get you to the mountain if I'm standing on the mountain talking to you.
Yeah.
And I've been through enough valleys in my life to come down to some pretty low places to grab some people. And so but the reason why I'm doing it now is I think I'm not ashamed. I used to be ashamed of getting shot because I moved in circles where the idea of getting shot, I used to be around folk, in corporate America and in the business world. And the first thing they say is, what did you do to get shot? How did you, they don't even understand that where I grew up, you can walk down the street and get shot, but they're like, and so I kind of hid it and I didn't want to hide anymore because I felt like there was more power and strength in the truth of my story, in the vulnerability than there was in me showing the victory.
Can I share one more thing with you? So January 17th, I got baptized. You came out and you graced us, and I didn't know like you were going to be there. And I got baptized real young, and so I was always conflicted with. I got baptized when I was younger on my own, so why get it now? I didn't realize that January 17th was the day that I got robbed and shot at. Almost got shot at.
Wow.
In 2021, and I wind up being baptized with you guys January 17th.
That's amazing.
So that was my knowing, and I realized that when I was reading, I said, "Wow, it all came."
That's amazing.
So yeah.
That's powerful.
That's amazing.
I preached my first sermon in January 17th.
Oh, wow.
That's
I gave my life to Jesus January 14th. I just wanted to be. Please forgive me. Anybody else? Who else got one?
My birthday is January 14th.
All right, let's go. My spiritual birthday is January. We share a birthday. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Sheila and I live here in Fort Worth.
Hi,
It's a pleasure to meet both of you all and thank you all for coming to Fort Worth.
Yes, ma'am.
And my question is on knowing, kind of like yourself, when you said you always knew, or God had always had spoken to you, before anything would happen, you already could see it or hear it. And then when you're trying to share it, people will say, "Oh, you just paranoid." And it's like, I don't know when it might happen, but I already have seen it, and the Lord had already told me, so get prepared. So where do the uncertainty of just the ability to know, how would you relate? Well, once I read your book, the deeper when I always knew that God's hand and God's voice always talked to me. By growing up in, in the church and knowing and studying the Bible. But as you grow and you have different trauma in your life, he begins to show you part of what he said. I knew you before you knew yourself. And so my thing is not to be, people have started saying that, oh, you're so spiritual now when you speak, but yet I'm only speaking to what I've heard God tells me to say, because that's part of my daily thing. When I open my mouth, He speaks through me and for me. But yet, where do I find not being ashamed or not getting up and continue to say what He tells me to say?
Yeah, I hear you. It's first of all, it's hard. It is hard when you hear, because your hearing reframes life, and it can be isolating. Um, what you see easily and naturally and normally, people around you don't. But I will say this: um, Elijah, when he was struggling, and he felt like, man, nobody gets it but me. Like, he's a prophet. I'm seeing nobody gets it for me. He had a misknowing. That was actually a misknowing. He said, nobody sees it but me. And God corrected his misknowing. He said, child, there's still 7,000 that haven't bowed the knee to Baal. And so as a seer, and I see you are a seer, I can see it. I see you see seers. Um, you want to be as healthy as you can be. And I think that your health will come in knowing, and kind of to the earlier point, that they won't see. It's your portion, but you're not by yourself. There are others. Even like me saying to you, I see that you're a seer. That's God saying there's 7,000 out there that haven't bowed the knee. Don't compromise it. Don't be frustrated with it. Don't weaponize it. Just flow in it. It's led you, it's guided you, it's your safety, it's your protection. And those anointed to respond will respond like they do. When you say it, you speak it to some people. Oh yeah, they were the ones that were supposed to hear it, and others. That's the tension of being a seer. So rest in it. But what rose real strong in my spirit was there's still 7,000. Seven would be enough. Seven's the number of completion. There'd be enough. He's saying that there's enough times 1,000 of you, just like you. So you're not off. You're not crazy. You just see, and there's 7,000 of y'all.
The second one is for is giving me confirmation.
Yes.
Because I had a mentor before she passed. She said, you're a seer.
Mm.
And I have so many sevens are related to me. The month, my birth, 27, the date, and 57 the year.
Wow.
And she said, you look at all of those sevens. And what's the seven? Double for all the trials and the tribulations that I go.
I got one more word for you. The prophets weren't popular until they were necessary. And we're moving into a time. That's why this book, Knowing, is not just like trying to build you up spiritually. It's to activate the knowers. And you are a knower, and the world needs clarity. And you're moving clear. That's why you have to keep your heart. Yes, so you can be not only clear but healthy, because health and clear go hand in hand. The Bible says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." So the purer your heart, the clearer your eyes, and the clearer your eyes and the purer your heart, the more impactful your speech. We need you. This world needs you. This generation needs you to be you. Amen. All right.
Don't take anything personal because
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. We got time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta roll with.
Okay. And we'll do, maybe we're gonna do something again.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing before we go? Tim has a book coming out.
Yes.
called The Missing Piece, Peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to put that in the ether. You can pre-order. I think he's going to be here soon talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I heard it, when I heard the message of the book,
Mm.
it was so powerful
Mm.
that I felt like I need to be talking about his book as much as I'm talking about mine.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
just
Mm.
you pre-order it, all that kind of stuff. But it's I am going to say one more thing because it's just true. When I experienced Tim, he has a developed spirit, identity, expression
Mm-hmm.
of Christ and of faith that the world really, really needs. So much so that I feel called to help. He don't need no help, but I feel called to help and to support and to lift the expression that he carries
Mm-hmm.
because the world needs it and there is revival connected to it. So I wanted to say that publicly and I'll continue to say it publicly. And I think that the book, The Missing Piece,
Mm-hmm.
which will be out in a week, but it's pre-ordered now. You know how pre-order is the way, that's how you help a book.
Mhm.
That's what tells the book buyers to buy and all that kind of stuff. So and I wanted to say that it's called The Missing Piece.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, go sign
I'm
these
sorry.
books.
And I want to, can we give it up for the doc?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay, so one more time for Tim Rose and Touré Roberts. Okay, we got this quirky book thing. We really do have it bad in terms of quirky book thing. And I need you to take a selfie with the audience, if you would, with the book. Where's the media guy? Oh, he's coming. Yeah. So we're gonna, we're gonna close in. We're gonna close in the gaps. Yes. Oh, we got the media. He's got it. He's got us. Oh, the media guy got us. Where's my phone? Huh? Yeah, right. Stay in your row. I'm sorry.
But you can't stand.
You need to stop.
No, we got another phone. That's all right. He got us. There we go. Oh, I can be trying to hold that book up and grab mine.
You got your book.
For the camera.
You got your book?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What we gonna say? Touré on? No.
On three.
Okay.
One, oh, Rich.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Okay, we're gonna do a video now. 1, 2, 3.
We thank them so much for participating in the bookish industry quirkiness. Okay, so Gaia is gonna lead everyone around. We're gonna do the first row, we're gonna do it by rows for the book signing, okay?
Yes.
So Gaia, if this girl can stand, okay, like in church, we usher stand.
Yeah.
We're gonna go do the store, because I want y'all to see the store, right? Yeah. We're gonna walk around and get in line, so we're gonna follow. Okay. And then, okay, follow me, okay. Follow, please. Next row.